Yes. She wants a copy.
Washington to step out into Central Georgia, Mr. Warely, so we can make sure we're in compliance with our numbers.
Oh, yes.
Ms. Brown, if you don't mind, can you ask her to make sure she's standing right there though? Because if we have a question party and one of us to step out, that she's coming out before she can come back.
If not, Ms. Flowers can go and do hers on, can you view it online, and then when Ms. Washington can be in here the whole time? She'll do her computer.
Thank you. When Ms. White can come back in, we'll go on to the question docket and just Georgia.
Okay.
He said he would come. Should we get out there?
That's him now.
How you all doing?
Hey,
Shantice still have.
thanks, Mr. Jordan. If you don't mind, you can have a seat by Mr.
Good afternoon.
Chair of the Greenwood Leflore Consolidated School District Special Call Board meeting to order. May we pray. Lord, we thank you for this day. We thank you for this hour. We thank you, Lord, for this board. And we ask that you touch each one of us individually as well as collectively, Lord God, that we will make good stewards over what you have called us to do. We thank you for our leadership, for our superintendent, Lord God. And we thank you for all these people that are here today. These and many other blessings we ask in Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Chair will entertain a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved.
It's been motioned and second, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it, motion is carried. Dr. Brown.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
First, we have our information agenda presentation from Senator Jordan.
Oh, thank you very much. And are you ready for me to say something now?
Yes, sir.
Let me say something at this time about the bond issue. I don't know enough about it, how much, anything like that, but I do know it's very hard thing to get past, certainly under the circumstances that we're under now. I checked with Holmes County a few minutes ago. They had one, they floated in November. It passed by 58%. They fell 2% below the 60% margin. That was an $18 million bond that they was trying to pass. Certain group of people, certain of those who had children in private schools, fought them the hardest on radio and every way they could. Going back to some past history, Dr. Daniel we had given them, when I say we, the state had given them $11 million. He had $11 million. He wanted to put a bond issue for $18 million to build a new hospital at that time. The bond issue failed because some of our own people got out on the road with big billboards because they were told to do so, whatever the reasons were, and they defeated the bond issue. My point is, I don't know how much you're proposing in a bond, but in my opinion, and being honest, I don't think this is the time to do it. Because what we got before us now, epidemic, what I call it, widespread, and people not only don't have resources, many of them don't have anything to eat, and the worst thing you can do is to get out there and it failed. Okay? That happened before. So, I don't know how much the bond issue you want to propose or put before the people. This, of course, politically, it would be the right time because it's the presidential election. But under the circumstance that we're wearing these masses, that would have something totally against it. And once the bond issue is defeated, then there's animosity spread, and people are reluctant to vote for the second one. So we'll have to, in my opinion, pick our fight. Maybe a couple of years from now would be okay. But this year would be bad. Now, on the other hand, if I don't know the condition of the schools, and I need to visit the schools at your request, or along with you, to look at the circumstances in which the schools are. But I don't know how many meals to combine 5,000 students or 4,500, whatever the number is. The city would get 3 meals at one time. And a meal is $225,000. Am I right, Mr. Leroy?
A meal in Leflore County today would generate $264,000.
264, that's good. And I don't know how many with the combining of the school districts. Do we have 6 or do we have 5? How many meals are we entitled to under the merger? You know, Mr. Leroy?
Well, what happened was the county schools and the city schools, when they combined those budgets. And what you heard was that the county school district went up 5 meals, the city school district went down 10 meals. And so you have a point now where, during your regular budgeting process, you would use the same formula that you normally would in terms of how many meals you could go up.
You don't know how many we have at this time? Anybody know?
He has the paperwork.
Currently, the millage rate is 44.12 meals.
44.
44.12. Of that amount, 42.61 is for maintenance, and 1.51 is on a 3-meal, 10 to 20 year note.
Okay, so you got 3 meals over 10 to 20 year note.
Well, you got 1.51 mil on a 10 to 20 year note.
We got a total
I would think so.
okay, the meal is $264,000, $264,000.
Mr. Wade,
Yes.
can you repeat that, first figure, please, the one that you stated before, 1.51? Oh, okay.
Okay,
Okay.
if you look on that first sheet, which has the tax levy for the Floyd County, if you look down by middle wage to pay, you will see that the school maintenance millage is 42.61 million. And then there's a note out there, there's a 10 to 20 years note that's generating 1.51 million. And that 1.51 million right now is generating about $400,000 of income per year.
Mr. Ward,
Yes,
can
ma'am.
you listen to George D. Mines to the meeting go?
Do what now?
Can you listen to George D. Mines? Yeah, thank you.
Thanks, sir.
If you look on that last page, you'll see that in 2018, the county millage was, for the school was 38 mil, and the city millage was 55. So what we had was when they combined the school district, we had to have just one mill rate. And when they combined them, they came up with a mill rate of 44.12, which meant that the county went down 5 mil, and the city, well, the county went up 5 mils, and the city went down 10 mils.
So with one district, we have 44.12.
Yes, sir.
Okay. We are allotted how many per year? 3 to use, 3 per year? Is that right? Well, I think 3 per year for school purposes.
Mr. Rush?
That's because you got a millage of a $3 million note is what you got. And so with that, there's 3 million that they can divide among the citizens to pay those taxes. But the school district itself can increase up to 55 million. That's the maximum
That's the
they
cap,
have.
that's the max.
But the other ones we would call bonds or other options you would have to use in order to increase that millage rate. It's outside of the 55 million cap.
May I ask a question? How much money would you gonna throw the bond issue for how much money? You haven't gotten to that point. Now, I don't mean to sound negative, but you all know what we're confronted with right now. Plus, county population is down to about 32,000. I may be close to it, Mr. Ware. City population is say 15,000, which is somewhere between 13,000 and 14. So population in Leflore County is not no more than 33 or 30, maybe 34,000. So we have to look at that. We have to look at the opposition. You got 3 private schools here now. You got another charter school coming up next school term. You got our folks scattered everywhere, and we have to weigh that for what it's worth. The worst thing I'm saying is the float one, I'm a superintendent, and it fails, and it goes. That's the worst thing. So if we can hold off it a couple of years and use the millage to patch up or whatever we need to do to maintain fairly decent schools for instruction, and then after the census too, there again, the census may help us. If we get absolutely everybody counted. So after the census, and after this is over, that we're in the middle of now, then we can look at it, the Lord says, so about 2 years from now would be my suggestion, then we can look at it on the capacity. How much was the capacity? How much were you asking? Anybody know? You hadn't gotten to that point?
No.
Oh, so we just, okay, we're just getting started. I hope I didn't deflate your balloon, but I'm looking realistic at what the circumstances are. You may disagree with them, but I have to be honest and open with you. I'd like to hear from you or somebody now. Yes, sir.
I would listen to what you're saying. Before starting out with the census can help us and also can hurt us. I would listen to what you're saying about the private school, charter school, and in my standpoint, I'm speaking for the kids of Greenwood Leflore Consolidated School District. With all due respect, those private schools, charter schools are getting better. And I noticed that
What do you mean getting better?
the way they look, the structure, the things that we're trying to build, they're getting better for us. Building wise. And we want our kids to have something nice, just like everyone else.
I agree.
I understand that what's going on right now, but I feel that we can't keep putting our kids off every time we come up with a hurdle.
I agree with you 100%, but realistically, you have to look at where we are.
We have failed in so many things in this county. I don't mind failing again with a bond issue, but I have to do my part to try to push it. I know that we got a new Humane Society building. We have new prisons. We have new highway patrol station in this county, and I feel it's time for kids to get new school.
Okay. I understand.
And Senator Jordan, first let me say thank you for coming. And being a former educator, still an educator to this day, I'm sure you understand the importance and the value that education definitely adds to our community. But kind of piggybacking on what Mr. Williams was saying is that I think we all agree our children deserve the best that we can provide. Providing a brand new facility may not be in our grasp right now, but they deserve better. And I think too that patching only goes so far. And, even at some point, I can't speak for the board, but we're going to have to look at closing some of these buildings. Because realistically, from a financial standpoint, we can't continue operating so many buildings, repairing so many buildings. And then if you decide to close a school for whatever reason, then you have to look at where do you move those students to. And we may not have a facility large enough at this point to house students if we decide to close another school or two schools. But your point is well taken. And again, I certainly value and appreciate your opinion.
Well, that's all I'm giving. If you feel strong about voting one, so be it. But I've lived through bond issue for the last 52 years. I've been in local politics. It's not going to be smooth sailing. I look at what happened right down the road from part of my senatorial district. Holmes County is 84% African American. That bond issue fell there. And before we had the epidemic, what we got now, and the hardship that all people know. So you're going to get a double whammy if you come out in November. I just have to be realistic. I'm just as compassionate and know and be willing to first do whatever I can, promote getting a bond issue passed. But the worst dilemma we could get in now is try and it fail. And people will have legitimate arguments. I just lost my job, but just coming from under this, and I ain't paying no more tax, I ain't even got nothing. You're going to hear all kind of stuff. You got a wall of folks already standing out there against you that's going to persuade those persons who own 16th section land. A lot of people own 16th section land. They're going to persuade them the days, your tax going up, mine's going, I can't afford it, I've had a bad year. You're gonna have all of that. But if you still strong, do it. But the consequences are great all of them.
I have a question. When you talking in terms of the funding that's generated from the meals, you're only talking, saying that those funds can be used for maintenance and not any new construction of any sort. Is that right?
Well, it's more or less for R&R repair, more or less. Trying to hold on until you're able to build a new school. That's what they're for. And plus, you got to first sell your plan to all over this county, and that's going to be big. You got to sell it at Aberdeen, you got to sell it southeast. All these people got to sell it to everybody. And you got, on the other hand, you got a lot of stuff out there. So if you think we can do it now, then I'm on your side. But it would be dishonest for me as an old man who've been through so many circumstances and consequences as reference to politics to sit here and tell you this is the right time to do it. It isn't.
Yes, sir, Mr. West.
Let me just say that whenever we do this bond issue, you're gonna have 25% that's opposed for against it from the start. It don't matter whether you do it now, whether you do it 10 years from now. Those folks that have children in private school, they're gonna be opposed to this. We make up African Americans make up 75% of this county. The bond issue, whether it pass or fail, will be based upon how the African American community vote in this election. And the key is you have to convince those folks that when you're doing a bond issue, it's not going to drive their taxes sky high. If you got a $100,000 house, if you go up $1 million, your taxes go up $10. That ain't bad. If you're saying to somebody, we're going to raise your taxes $2 million, it's going to cost you, if you got a $100,000 house, it's going to cost you $20. Most folks would be willing to pay $20 for a new school for the children. We got to educate the folks in terms of what's going on, how much it's going to actually cost, and make it work. And we got to do that regardless of when we do it.
All right, we certainly thank you, Mr. George, for your input and your points and your opinions well taken. And Mr. Ware, we thank you for coming and providing that information from the tax assessor's office. And if you all don't have any other comments, we thank you for coming.
Yeah, may I ask a question? Do you have an idea for how much will the bond issue be? What kind of, how much you asking for? Have you gotten the best one?
Actually, we haven't, you know, on that far yet, Mr. Jordan. Our attorney here, you want to provide some feedback?
It's my understanding that the board and the superintendent, that they might come together to identify what they would like to build, renovate, or all that. So before you even get to that, you don't even know what the estimated cost would be. So he just not got it up yet.
Okay.
So you're telling me?
All right.
Let me get out of here.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Oh, that don't do me like the king used to do the messenger. Don't kill the messenger. Bringing something that is not freezing. But I have to be open-minded about it and be fair about it.
And your point is well taken. Thank you so
Do you
much.
want this back?
No, it's yours.
Thank you, man.
All right,
Appreciate it.
thank you.
Thank y'all.
You bet.
Okay, Dr. Brown.
Let me get this, school thing right here.
introduce myself to you all and be open for any questions that you may have.
Hello, nice to meet you. I've talked with your superintendent and also talked with your finance director, Ms. Washington. I think that I can help you. I don't want to be in a situation that I'm trying to help you and I'm spinning my wheels and I just end up charging you money and you're not getting anything good out of it. And for that reason, what I generally like to do is divide everything up into projects. And we talked this morning with the superintendent and with the finance director and thought, what is the most pressing thing right now? And to me, while you're a consolidated district and Leflore County itself has been closed out, all the past in Leflore County from July 1, the same is not true for Greenwood. That audit is not completed. There are still things that the auditor needs. I think he told me he would share in some of the blame because he had just kind of set it aside because he knew it was kind of a difficult situation. And I have worked consolidations, and I'll tell you that first year after the consolidation is tough. It really is tough. Now, it's kind of an interesting situation here. The last consolidation that I worked was the Starkville-Oktibbeha School District. And we were actually able to go into Oktibbeha, which was dissolving, and work with them so that we would be ready almost to pass the baton off on July 1. And I understand that that did not fully happen here. So that's going to make it harder. But the first thing we've got to do is get all of old Greenwood finished, audited, and then take those beginning balances to merge with the books for Leflore so that you'll know where you are. Only then can everything for this year be reconciled. So what I would like to do is start with the contract that I can prepare. I wanted to come on site and see kind of what's here and everything. I generally just don't do proposals over the phone until I've come on site. And recommend for me to assist the staff and assist the auditor in getting things ready to audit. Get finished with that audit, then I'll actually go in and make sure the conversion or the consolidation entries are correct on the books. And then the second part of the second contract would be helping them get this fiscal year, the 1920 fiscal year, which is the first year of consolidation, get it reconciled, get it ready for audit. And then it's my understanding that there would even be maybe the need for the third phase, which would be assisting Ms. Washington in getting her staff trained and in getting the duties segregated so that everything would be solid as far as an internal control standpoint, and also that they could work efficiently and effectively. With COVID-19, of course, we're doing things that I never thought we would do. Someone made a deposit the other day at the bank and said, I never dreamed I'd go into a bank with a mask on to make a deposit, and nobody would think anything about it. And I hate wearing these things because it's so hard to breathe in them, but I'm going to have to do a lot of this beginning work off-site, remotely. So I'll be depending on Ms. Washington and probably her assistant business manager to get me things. It may be, even if I get to a point that I need things, that I could come and maybe one or two staff members could come and work so we wouldn't be in such close proximity. But that's what I would like to do, is submit a proposal to the superintendent, and then she can, I don't know if y'all have board meetings often or you poll the board or whatever and discuss it. And once we get that approved, then I can move forward. But once you get the 1920 year over with, the 2021 should be easier. I do believe that it should be easier. I know there was also a software change, right, for some of your people, and while the softwares are similar, you know, once you know a software, even going to one that's similar can be kind of difficult. I think your staff is large enough from what I see, as far as the number of people that you have, to be able to affect change. But you know, school districts are asked more and more to do more and more with less and less, and that's not just from an instructional standpoint. So the key to being successful in that office is being efficient. And I'll be glad to entertain any questions if you have any. looking at right now, it seemed that they stopped reconciling bank statements in February of 19. So that means that March, April, May, and June has to be done. I think from my understanding, it maybe was difficult, or there was no system, and I don't know if this system was supposed to come from the state or what, to actually have jurisdiction to go in and make sure that that was happening in Greenwood. Because it's almost like you're merging together. Two districts are running alongside, and then you've got to squeeze it down to you're the same person that has the baton, and then you're just one person running. Well, it looked to me like that it was running along smoothly, and then Leflore started doing this, and everything just stopped here.
So earlier, you mentioned he. Who are you referring to?
Okay, now what he?
Yeah, you said he, I think you referred to a he. Was that were you referring to Mike Kent?
No, Joel Cunningham, who's your auditor.
No.
Yeah.
So auditor for Greenwood Leflore Consolidated or Greenwood?
Just Greenwood by itself.
Thank
The
you.
last year, the 18-19 year.
Joel Cunningham.
Mhm.
Okay.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
I think, if I'm not mistaken, that you mentioned Mike Kent, that there was someone in here. I'm not sure how successful they were in getting cooperation from Greenwood.
Great segue to my next question.
Okay.
So she was here. I cannot remember her name.
Debbie Jones.
Yes. I think at that time, 2 members at the time were not on, but 3 of us were.
Mhm.
So Debbie Jones is her role.
Mhm.
At that time, I thought that's what she was doing during that time.
And that's what my confusion was,
Okay.
because we were given the consultants by the state, by MDE,
Mhm.
to close Greenwood, to do just like Leflore County. That's why I'm so confused.
And to assist, I don't think it was Miss Washington. No, it was the
No, we
young
had-
lady before.
She was in Leflore County, but we had
That's
somebody
true.
else in Greenwood.
Okay.
Well, and I can't answer why that did not happen. I'm just saying from looking at it, the bank statements, we only have through February. And the staff here has attempted March, April, May, and June, but we've got to get those nailed down. And in talking with the auditor, he was telling me that he was thinking cash was a net effect of 13,000 off, but I'm not sure how he can say that if the bank statements haven't been reconciled. And I would like to go back and attempt to reconcile those, because there's no need to bring forward bad numbers into your year as a consolidated district. If they're going to be prior period adjustments to be made, I would rather they be made in the last year that Greenwood existed as a separate school district than bring forward balances and then trying to adjust them off this year in the 1920 year. So when I leave here, I will call him, the auditor for Greenwood, and speak with him about that, and see if he agrees with that, because ultimately the balances that he gives us will be the ones that we have to start with for the 1920 year.
So we wouldn't need to contact Ms. Jones for any reason?
Well,
Because she was assigned to us.
I can do that. I know her. I can call her and see if, I don't know that it would matter at this point why they didn't do it. I believe that y'all are still under contract with her through June of this
Is
year.
that the month, that's from June?
And Dr. Moore, in Ms. Jones's defense, back then, I'm not sure if any of the board members were able to see it. She did submit communication that she was not getting into cooperation, and being allowed access in, I think it was not Marathon, but Integrity on the Greenwood side. And I remember reading it because I wasn't in a place where I could make those decisions, but I remember being CC'd on the information that was going back and forth, and there were she had sent numerous communications about the lack of cooperation she was receiving. And so, I'm not sure how it was dealt with, but I do remember reading.
Okay.
But you do see going forward that all of this can be resolved.
Oh, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. It'll be, a lot of work, and it will require a lot of cooperation from the staff when I need things for them to get them. But if they'll do that, yes, it can be resolved, and it needs to be resolved. Because you can't close out the 1920 year until you close out the 18-19 year for Greenwood. So you're gonna be dead in the water, you're not gonna be able to do anything until that happens.
Ms. Smith, if I may, thank you for coming also. Two questions that you may be able to answer or may not be able to answer. In your review or your audit of the documents, is it possible for you to suggest to us areas where we could possibly save money? And then two, looking at the finances, if our manpower aligns with our needs and the money that we have to cover personnel and things like that.
I could do that, that would come later in that phase 3.
Okay.
So that would come later. I'm gonna be honest with you, the bulk of the work of our firm is audits.
Okay.
And once we hit September, then we go back into audit season, which normally, when I got the call, a lot of times in the summer, I don't even take on projects, but given the unique situation we're in, I've got some time now that I could help. And it may be that I can help with phase 1 and phase 2, but I will find you some, if I'm not able to assist with phase 3, I would find someone. But that's exactly what phase 3 would be, is looking at the office staff, figuring out who does what, helping them develop procedures to be more efficient and effective at what they do. And that's, at that point in time, if they felt you had too many or not enough, then that recommendation would probably be made.
Thank you.
And then if you saw that, it wasn't where it should be, do you provide training, or could you help us in finding somebody to train?
Yes, ma'am. Either one of those I could. And sometimes what I suggest, once someone has been through a very tough period, a lot of times it helps to have someone come in, maybe for a day or two a month, at the end of the month, after the bank statements are reconciled, and sit and look at everything and say, okay, you haven't done this or this, and just provide that positive reinforcement. So many times what will happen, the district will get behind, they'll bring in a firm, and they'll work and get it all caught up, and then they're like, well, we gotta go because we've got other work to do, or by then the district is tired of paying the contracts, and I can understand that because it does get expensive. But then it's almost like going in and fixing everything and then going, okay, now here, you take it. But there's no positive reinforcement going forward. And I've done this for a long time, and I think that's one thing that's lacking in a lot of cases, is that if your staff knew that someone's going to come in once a month and check and see, and if things aren't being done, try to reinforce effectively what should be happening, or to say, okay, this staff member's not doing something they should be doing, let's figure out why. Because everyone has to do their job.
Right.
There have to be procedures and policies, and they have to follow those procedures and policies, because it all trickles into one set of rules. So if you don't have your payroll people doing what they need to do, or understanding what they need to do, and your accounts payable, you're gonna have problems. And we talked about some of that this morning. As long as they're willing to work, and it's hard work, and as long as they're willing to be open to learning new things and trying things differently, then yes, I think it can be corrected.
Anybody else?
Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you for your time.
Nice to meet y'all.
Thank you.
So how quick would it be that you would be able to get the information you need, like your fees and?
I can get something to your superintendent tomorrow, and then y'all can just let me know if you approve it, and we can start. I'm gonna go ahead, if it's okay, and take some documents with me, and if we don't work out something, then I'll come back. I love Greenwood, so I don't mind coming back. It's giving me something to do while we're quarantining down, so, and I can bring them back, so, thank you.
A couple of questions, before we move forward.
I noticed she stated that, are we still paying Debbie Jones, or was she assigned to us?
From my understanding, what she was signed before me, the district paid for her contract through June, or will pay to contract with her through June. So,
2020?
of this year.
Well, she never done the series.
Right.
but we're not paying her if she doesn't.
If she
She's
doesn't
not
work
really
it
on
out.
that.
Okay.
Gotcha.
So her bill stopped in February?
Well, probably, yeah, because I think that was
Okay.
an older bill, but yeah,
Okay.
most things we just communicate on the phone, she doesn't charge us for it.
Okay.
But I don't understand, if she was provided to us by the state, then why she's not, like, why you not communicating with her? Like, I'm saying to the point where she would get a bill.
Well, she has a lot of other things she's doing, so I think she's just not charging us for it because most things she's like, okay, Keely, you just go ahead and do that, you know, and I'll just tell her what we're doing, and she's like, okay, she agrees with it or whatever, but she just hadn't charged us for anything.
Would that be would that be your decision, Dr. Brown, to continue working with her?
Yes, and Miss Suzanne and we spoke this morning, and because Ms. Jones has the background knowledge about the district and some of the things, we just talked about the two of them staying in contact, and if Ms. Jones has to do any work, then I would talk to you, Ms. Milton, and then we would get that approved for her to continue doing some of the work. So that, I think what Ms. Smith was telling me is going to expedite some of the time spent.
Yeah, what I was speaking of was in the past, I'm not talking about going forward.
Yes, ma'am.
What I was speaking of was Ms. Jones, because I just can't figure out why she hasn't been doing anything.
So
Okay.
Dr. Brown,
Go on.
so Dr. Brown, she wasn't receiving the cooperation that she needed.
Yes, ma'am.
So then, when you actually came on board, did she continue then since she would have been able to get what she needed, or?
Well, see, the thing about it, when I came on board, I was still sitting with two superintendents.
Mm-hmm.
And so the work that Ms. Jones Ms. Jones was working through two business matters.
Mm-hmm.
And there was still no cooperation.
But I'm thinking what she's saying is that once we consolidated and everything just became one, why Greenwood still didn't get tended to? You get what I'm saying? Because that business manager was gone. It was Ms. Washington at that point.
Not necessarily. When I came in at the beginning of March.
No. We
And
talking about,
superintendent.
I'm not talking about March. I'm talking about August. When the new,
Okay, so when August came, Ms. Jones, they were trying to work to straighten things out. And that was why, I don't know if you all remember, a lot of times when Ms. Washington would present without saying it publicly, that things were
Still merging.
right.
Okay.
We would use the term still merging, but there was so much that, I'm trying to say it in a nice.
but but that's the point I'm trying to make. It looked like to me Debbie Jones could have still been working on that to get us.
And she was.
Okay.
Debbie Jones had been working on it
The entire
for
time.
the entire time. And when the auditor came in, even our auditor, Mr. Cunningham, and I can bring him here.
No, I met a lady, remember?
Yeah,
when-
that was for Leflore County.
Oh, that was before
But
that,
the
okay.
person for Greenwood is the one that still said how complicated it was even for him. So Ms. Jones was still working, but at the same time, she's assigned to other districts also, and not just Greenwood. So she would work through with Ms. Washington. And even though it is, I mean, they have made progress on that side, but it's so much, and that's why I mentioned to Ms. Washington one time, and maybe, you know, you just need to open up and just tell you all what she's seeing, what's actually there. But they have worked on the Greenwood side, but it's complicated.
I'm
really-
just trying to keep things cost effective.
Mhm.
I don't know if we'll need, if Debbie, I know she's still under contract. We don't pay her unless we get her services. But I'm just trying to figure out, do we need her? If we ask Miss Smith, is it Smith?
Yeah.
To come aboard and we get her proposal on top of the payment.
But there's nothing that we can do. MDE gave us consultants when we first started off to merge. But they just said that she's not working, she's not getting anything. So there was nothing we could do about that contract.
And I
Because-
think it's, I'm sorry.
But we paying it.
But I think, no, we're not paying.
Okay.
But I think Ms. Smith's fees will take into account whether she needs to bring in extra people. If not, working with Ms. Jones, she won't have to bring in her team of people.
So when we discontinue MDE's contract period,
No, we can't
Still
do that.
don't?
But you
Okay.
said saying that if she, because Ms. Jones is so, aware of things that's going on, she might have to use her. So if she collaborates with her, we'll have to pay her. Because she's already aware of what's going on
That's
this
right.
side.
that's
And
right.
then we get that by MD, so it's nothing that we can do, because we can't do consolidation with that.
Question. So kudos, Ms. Washington, great job getting Leflore County closed out. My hats off to you and thank you for that. So with you two knowing, and I don't know if the former board members knew about the issues with Greenwood, prior to today, did anybody consider requesting an audit of the district? So we wouldn't be where we are now?
They got out of
Yeah, we need.
Well, I'm saying, how did the district get audited if Greenwood wasn't closed out?
That's how they know they close.
Right.
All right, so you got audited, but nobody acted to,
That's what
No,
big
we
on
requested the audit, we requested the audit back in August,
okay,
and the company could not come until September.
okay.
And that's why she said that he was saying he took a lot of blame because he knew that there was so much. Then, we got a response that he will be here in December.
Uh-huh.
And then in January, we couldn't use anybody else because Greenwood had already been contracted with him.
So that was a breach of contract in a sense that if you have a contract and they didn't provide service.
No, he just had to do the audit within that year, but we requested it early in August.
Okay.
And so now, moving forward, now we have a better say so of who we bring in. And
Understood. Thank you.
approval of monthly financial reports. Attached are financial reports for the month ending April 20th, 2020. The following reports are attached. Claim docket, Ms. Washington.
We are asking that the board approve the claim docket number 945905 to 945951. And these are claims that we didn't get approved on the last, board, at the last board meeting that we had with the claim docket was on the original claim docket. Some of these bills are still going to the floor building, and so we must have chiefs didn't get them in time. So we're just trying to pick up on those.
So if you can look on page 13, and I want to know, you know, like why is they just coming in that last one on page 13?
Numbers about 80% is yours, so.
It says 7 out of 11, but my page says 13.
Is there a claim docket number?
945950.
Yeah.
Nine, 4, 5, 9, 5, 0.
Yeah, 40950.
5, 0, if I'm not mistaken.
945
950.
950.
I'll go and pull it for you. I can bring that in here so we can see,
But, Dr. Brown, if you don't mind, like when you working along with the consultant, see, my problem is gonna be, I wanna make sure we got the right people in place, because, like, with that date, I mean, I just wanna make sure that everybody knows what they supposed to be doing, and they know their job is big. You get what I'm saying?
And
I'm
that's,
saying, in the business office, accounts payable, whatever it is.
and that's what I talked to Ms. Smith about with the coaching piece and the training piece, to allow, not, like she said, we do have a good group, but sometimes we all do need that additional training, just to know how to prioritize things.
But even in her expertise, she'll be able to tell, like my profession was a teacher, so I can pretty much know if this is a good teacher or if that person could receive training, if that would help. But then sometimes teachers just not cut out to be teachers, you get what I'm saying? I just want to say, when you're working with her, can you please?
Next person, I have a question.
Yeah.
We watch it. On page 4, it was the very first page. For claim number 945926, what's that period of time that we're paying them for in order to provide the service?
They are, still providing services, online consulting work for the teachers.
Okay. And our teachers been participating now?
They have, they're also doing our instructional packets,
Okay.
weekly instructional packets for students. They only have a few more, days, the remainder of the days on their contract. We're using those for our instructional packets, and we also have our chiefs who have set up the online PD for teachers, so that's what they're gonna spend the remainder of their contract doing.
Okay. And the last one, Ms. Washington, on that same page, 945932. So did they actually do the work, or was that just like renderings or suggestions as to what needed to be done?
Consultation.
Consultate, right, that's the word I need.
That was actual work, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was
That
actual work.
that they did.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let me get you to look at 911.
Okay. The study? Okay.
On 911. So Dr. Brown, you can tell me who all in the district has a cell phone?
For the most part, our administrators, principals, maintenance, nurses, some of do our chiefs have cell phones? Some of our chiefs have cell phones. And district administrators.
Back to that 945926. Now, is that just packets or packets and PD?
Packets and PD, and some of that is from, if we go back and pull those dates, some of that's from before we got out for the pandemic. So that's some of the invoices that they just sent in, submitted from them.
And Ms. Washington, on the next page, what is 947?
That's another phone services that we're using for basic.
Well, I'm saying like, so that would be like in-house, like for what y'all use to answer phone in-house? Because the other one is cell phone, so I'm saying, what is this?
Well, they still provide a service, and I'm gonna have to check to see which one that they're actually performing here in this school, because there's several ones that we have, like, even, we pay for something at the Head Start, but that's an agreement we had, so some of it is that, some of it is something like the in-house. I have to see which one that actually encompasses.
So watching my last question, I promise. On page 3 of 3, it has 6 at the bottom though. For unit 20, 21, and 22. You with me?
I know what that is,
Okay.
but give me a number, cause see, my numbers don't match yours.
You want a figure or?
You got a plain docket
No,
number?
man, it just says unit number.
Go up to that top page, and it does say, I
That was
Maybe
unit 20,
incorrect.
21, and 22. Are those expenditures kind of high, considering, again, I don't know what the exact time frame is when, you know, these were submitted versus, you know, the current pandemic that we're in.
Now, on the, those, if that's the electric or something like that, those are usually very high. I can tell you right now, with school, it's still high.
So it's charged by school, the name of the school? Okay, okay.
Yeah, we got a separate one.
Can we negotiate with the city of Elsbeth, Dr. Brown?
But, like I said, those are usually our
Yes,
highest bills we do have.
Okay, thank you for that.
And another thing, if y'all have a question, see, the claim docket is a huge thing, and if you have questions, if I know, I can get it, and we'll have it right here,
Before.
so you look at it. Cause in me trying to tell you exactly what's on there, if I'm not looking at those things, I can't tell you like you need to be, you know, what you need to know. Also.
But when you working with her, like, cause this been me since you've been here, about asking you specific, what is it? Like on this page, you got some things maintenance supplies, and then other things you have supplies, but I wanna know what kind of supplies, you see what I'm saying?
Okay.
But see, like you got a line that say maintenance supply, but then below it, you just got supplies, and you don't tell me what supply, I just wanna know what.
Yeah, that would definitely be, I need to bring the docket, actual docket, so you can review it, because like, say for instance, it was transportation, and it may say transportation supplies, but that list is gonna be.
Yeah, but that's still, let me know it's for transportation.
Okay.
See, like you got maintenance, you see what I'm saying? But I know it's in maintenance, so above this, where it has G and S holdings, I don't know what that is, so I'm saying, is that transportation, is that cafeteria, you see, I just wanna know what's
Okay, I see
specific.
what you're saying.
Yeah.
Okay.
The superintendent recommends that the school board approve the June financial, not the June. Approve the April financial reports and approve the payment of claims 945-9005 through 945-951 for the Greenwood Leflore Consolidated School District, and we'll change that to April.
Okay. Chair will entertain a motion to approve the April financial report and approve the payment of claims 945-905 through 945-951 for GLCSD.
So moved. Second.
There's been motion and second, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it, the motion is carried, Dr. Brown.
Okay, approval of school board meeting work session time changes, Ms. Nielsen.
All right, this is for the month of May, because when we go a May meeting, I'll make it again for each month, so we can be in compliance. And, so we need to come up with a time for our work session, which is April, what, Dr. Brown?
Work session will be April 29th,
April 29th, then the board meeting is May what, 3rd,
May 5th.
May 5th. All right, we need to come up with a time so we'll be able to put it out there for the public. So normally it will be 4:30, and we change because it's COVID-19, so most of us are at home through the day. So if y'all wanna change, we just need to collaborate, and come up with a time for that day.
Then that one.
And that'll be next Wednesday. Y'all want to do 12 for one? Okay, we'll try 12. Keep it in there, make it public. Our work session will be April 29th, 12 noon. All right, our board meeting, May 5th, which normally is at 5 o'clock. Y'all wanna go early again or late? 12:01? We'll try 1 o'clock. Is that okay, Dr. Bailey?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, May 5th, 1 o'clock. And And then while we at the May board meeting, then we'll make recommendation for June. We're still, doing that. And just for the regular board members, I do have an email for you, so that y'all know the reason we do this, so we can stay in compliance. Because if we get out of compliance on our first goal, well, I'll just send you the email. I'll send you a copy to that. All right, Dr. Brown.
Next we have steering committee meetings. Mrs. Milton and Mr. Johnson.
Ms. Johnson, you want to give us the update? And that also is included with that email that I'll be sending them.
Yes, I did speak with Jennifer Jackson from MSBA, and we will proceed with the steering committee meetings with those selected students, parents, community stakeholders, business members, faculty, and staff. Just at point of record, board members cannot participate in those, but what we would do, we would conduct those meetings, we would take that information from those meetings, and we'll come back and we'll present those either during the April 29th work session or the board meeting that Monday.
So will you do them separate, like the students one time, the parents, they all together?
Yeah, if you have, I did send y'all copies of the schedule. The students will start tomorrow at 10 a.m. The parents will be at 1 p.m. Then the next day we'll have the staff members at 10 a.m. and then the faculty at 1 p.m. And then the following day will be the community leaders at 10 a.m. and the business leaders at 1 p.m.
So how many meetings in all will it be, Mr. Johnson?
6.
6 per category.
Yeah, 6. Well, 6 total. It'll be one meeting for each group.
Okay.
And they just do it all can be live, right?
Yes, it'll all be streamed live.
Have they been notified, Mr. Johnson?
Those that I have emails for, I did send the invitation out to those email addresses.
Okay. What about those people who do not do the email?
And they do it by telephone?
Yeah, they can, the link that was in the email, it has the link information as well as the phone number. So if you did share that with them, they can just dial in. They can dial in and call.
Now, can you tell us like exactly what we going on?
Well, basically, what a steering committee meeting would be is just to kind of give them the information that was shared with the facility study, along with any other information, ask them questions on, basically with students, parents, what they would like to see, what are their thoughts on renovating schools, building new schools. It's just a pretty much informational gathering that we gather to get their opinions, to see what their thoughts on this process and what are some of the things that they would like to see as a community. That's basically what it is. It's just a planning to gather information, and once we receive that, we will compile it, and we'll just kind of basically go with y'all. But this is what the students said. These are some of the things that they're looking for. These are some of the ideas that they presented. Same thing with the parents, the community leaders, with the faculty, with the staff.
So if we would be getting pros and cons?
Yes. But whatever they talk about, whatever they bring up in the meeting, you'll get all that information.
So with the community stakeholders list, there was a separate business and then a leader.
Yeah, it was a community and then it was a business.
Oh, I made my list.
Oh, I know.
And that's fine. I kind of mixed them up. I kind of figured that's what y'all did.
Okay, so can you tell us, I think this question is for Attorney Pulley. How does this coincide with the work that you presented us with?
This doesn't eradicate or change anything that I would be doing. The board has a right, the school district has a right to engage the community to see what their thoughts are as relates to the bond issue or rebuilding or renovating. The work that I am doing, I have been in constant communication with government consultants. Gentleman, his name is Namdi Thompson and Jamie Holloway. They came and presented to the board and have given us these are the people who have given us those the binders. and been in contact with, as I told the board I would, in February, contacting loan counsel and underwriters counsel and all of that. I have not provided that to the board. I will do that after the meeting. I did not want to be premature in doing any of that because, of course, we have not identified architects and have not identified what you want to do. But after the board meeting, I have a copy of the information from all the professionals. But I think it's best to email a copy to all the boards so everybody have everything, at the same time.
So let me ask you this, I understand from when they came, if we were to do this, there's a bond attorney, correct?
Yes, it's a bond counsel.
But I'm just on saying, so do you work with them through
Yes,
the process,
oh, yes.
or they just do it?
Oh, no, how it works is you would have a bond counsel. That person works on behalf of the school district to make sure the bonds are valid and everything like that. You would have the issuer's counsel. That's me. You all are the issuer of debt. And the issuer's counsel is just me. That person makes sure make sure all the other professionals are doing what they have told us that they would do. I hate to use this word, but kick the can down the road, so to speak, to make sure that you said you're going to do this in a certain amount of time, and I bring everything to you all. And so the best person to be that is the person who has.
So it's like you'll be a facilitator?
Yes, I'll be the facilitator. And then you have the underwriters council who I've spoken with. I've spoken with attorneys from Butler Snow. And again, I'm going to give all of y'all that. And these attorneys and these financial advisors have experience, a lot of experience with bond deals from USM, Jackson State University, the airport, and all that. So I think we would be in good hands with working with them. I have spoken with them at length about this. I will provide the board in that email a questionnaire as to some of the things that the board and superintendent should be looking towards to get this ball rolling. As I presented in February, it is the board's decision as it relates to when they would like to hold the election. So you would have to decide when the election would be. Do you want to have the election, do you want to have the precincts to be the normal county precincts that we hold all the elections, or do you want to have the precincts to be in your school? You can do that. The law allows for you to do that, and the advisors, I think, told us that day that they like to have the precincts in the schools so that the community will be able to come in and see the conditions of guilt to persuade, that would be another persuader to have them to vote, because some of these I think what they mentioned is that some of the voters, they might have a child in private school, but if they walk through the gym or walk through the whatever the building is, it still might allow them to vote in favor of it. Also, just while it matters, another legal matter, you do not have to have 6% of the population in the county that vote. You don't have to have 6% of the people who vote for this to pass. I just wanted to lay that out there.
So, quick question for Mr. Johnson. Mr. Johnson, who will facilitate this meeting? The meeting of the steering committee?
I will be facilitating the steering committee meetings.
Okay, so does Mr. Pulley need to be at those meetings? I'm just asking.
Well, these are just planning meetings. It's not. It's just getting information. It's not actual. A decision wouldn't be being made. This is just gathering information from the community. Now he's welcome to be a part of the meetings, but I know the board could not be a part of the meetings.
Yeah. Okay.
I would advise also the board that I know that's going to be a lot of people, and we definitely don't want to be having many people in here. But if the board would like at a later date. To be, I know it probably wants to be a part of the process, but I think the law would say that if all 5 are there, it would be considered a meeting. So I think what the board could do, if it would like, it might could choose a few people from that group or the steering committee group, and then you could have at the next board meeting, let's say May, or work session, you could have some of them to come one by one, and we could discuss that in the executive session is what the law allows you to speak on expansion of facilities in executive session. You can do that if, to allow you all to have a legal meeting to discuss some of the, suggestions from the community.
Attorney, Fuller, just a question and a point of reference, is that just hypothetically, 3 of us could be on a phone call as a parent in a steering committee meeting.
No, two.
Huh?
Two.
No, Mr. Williams has children in the district.
But
Yeah.
it'll be considered board meeting.
Right, that's what I'm trying, the point I'm trying to make.
I would advise that not to happen.
Understood.
Just to, so it won't murky into the water.
Understood.
I would advise that not to happen.
Understood.
Okay, Mr. Johnson, will it, because our population won't have a whole lot of background knowledge, would they have like maybe a needs assessment or something that's gonna kind of guide the conversation?
Now, needs assessment can be created per group. I mean, we already have a needs assessment that's conducted through federal program.
Okay.
That will be one of the things that we will be looking at for information from, because those needs assessments, I want to say, have been out since early March.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Mr. Johnson, would there be additional meetings after this?
Yes.
Okay.
Once we meet, because even after that, you have to do what they call a town hall, which would be open, but that's after you have come up with the plan, once the plan has been kind of decided on.
And that's what I was leading up to, Dr. Brown. Because, we want to get the input of the community. So, like, the day that you have town hall or something, I was trying to think of something different that maybe you could have like an open house so that the public can go in and see the schools and the conditions that they're in.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that. It would just be planning, maybe taking 9 or 10 at a time and spacing it out. Probably sending out a schedule of times and getting people to come in during those times. I just think it's just the planning of it due to this pandemic.
Because sometimes, some people might not know
Right.
the conditions that the schools are in. And sometimes when you can see something, then they can change their mind.
I agree.
Okay. When was the last time the grand jury went in and inspected facilities?
It wasn't February. It may have been around February.
Is that the normal time they come in, or is that, or some they come annually, or do they?
They come in, but I know they came around either the beginning or end of February.
Do you have copies of that report?
They hadn't seen it yet. I usually get a copy from one of the county supervisors.
Mr. Pulley, please keep us posted on if anything rolls out, with the plan, in addition with Mr. Johnson's role in this. We want as much information as possible from both,
So that means that we'll be given a copy of a timeline from either one of you.
Oh, I would
So let us
provide-
know what to expect.
I'll provide the information that I have from the board. There's nothing really that anyone can do really from the bond deal team perspective until the planning has been done. What I would do, I will email the board the information that I have so far, and just to let you know that it is taken care of on this end. I will do that today.
thanks, Mr. Johnson.
Dr. Brown. Ms. Jenny, gonna give a shout out to Chandra Brown at L.
Yes, what you have in your hand, we talked about the HELP grant. We pushed that this year, and Amanda Elsie surpassed the rate that they had the year prior to getting the kids to complete the FAFSA by March 31st. So those kids have a really good chance of getting this grant after that, if they score their 20 on the ACT. So we post that on our page. I have my card.
Shout out to Chandra Brown.
Awesome job, awesome job, awesome job.